On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, you got me talking sports topics from the last couple of weeks. Hope you guys are ready. We got NBA, NFL, some fantasy, some college football. We, of course, got some pop culture to talk about. SAG AFTRA, they came to a tentative deal. We're going to talk about that. The movie's just coming back. Excuse me, I was about to cough. I'm having a little cough attack from the little bong. A little water pipe, I should say. But yeah, I'm back, though. We're going to talk about a lot in this episode. We got a little bit of everything, a little bit of stuff for everybody. So it's the Best of Bias podcast. You know, it's going to be a little bit of something for everybody. New listeners, welcome. The family, welcome back. It's a Saturday edition, episode 185. I think this is episode 185. We're getting up there, y'all. Thank y'all for taking this journey with us. I know it's been a long journey. We're going back to 2019. So it's 2023 right now. So we got a good 4 years, almost 5 years. So we pumping, we going. Y'all saw the elevation. I'm thankful for everybody being here every week listening, whether it's a Friday, whether it's a Saturday. Y'all been vibing with me, so I'm so happy for that. But anyways, before I get all sappy and stuff on this Saturday, let's get right to it. It's the Best of Bias podcast. Where that theme song at? And I promise after the theme song, I'm not gonna be coughing as much or getting ready to cough. But anyways, the Best of Bias podcast. Where that theme song at? Hey, thank you, AK, for making this video lovely for everybody. And let's get right into it.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up, everybody? It's the Best of Bias podcast. Sorry for that opening. I was just, going through some things. But I'm back, and I'm ready to talk to y'all. Y'all ready to talk to me? You're in the place to be to do so, so let's get right to it. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff has happened in the sports world in the last couple of weeks. A lot of stuff has happened in the pop culture world in the last couple of weeks. And there's a lot of stuff happening in cinema. So we're going to visit the cinema corner to talk about some good stuff. We're going to review that finale of Loki. We're going to talk Gen V finale. We've got a trailer for Echo. You know what I mean? We got a bunch of stuff. SAG AFTRA, like I said, signed that tentative. Did I say it in the beginning? Maybe I didn't, but signed their tentative agreement. So we got our actors and our directors back and the writers and stuff back too. So we on our way to some terrific cinema, some terrific TV shows, some terrific multimedia being created again. So I'm excited about that. We're going to talk about all that stuff. And of course, we got our sports check-ins. You know what I'm saying? NFL's week 10 now. 10 weeks already blown by. Review if I got those predictions right for week 9. It will move right into week 10, get those predictions popping. We'll talk a little bit of fantasy football, talk about NBA. My Nuggets is 8-1 right now, so I got a lot to say. You feel me? Yeah, so we'll get into a lot of stuff. But I hope you guys are here. I promise you guys I'll get back to time stamping and stuff so you guys won't have to find and pick and choose where you're going to listen or have to wait and see where your topic and what you're tuning in for. But I'm hoping you'll listen to the whole thing. You feel me? Hope you're not just skipping around, because the Best of Bias, we bring in everything here. But we're going to start to get more segmented as I get more guests. I think next week I'm going to try to get Chelsea on here to talk some relationship stuff, because this whole no taking people to the Cheesecake Factory on a first date type of thing, we need to talk about that. So we're going to get a couple of people in here. We got to discuss that, discuss first dates, and the dating world out there is kind of crazy. But we'll talk about that some other time. Let me not get too much off topic. Let's get right into these sports, and I'm gonna start with college football, because you know how I like to do. Oregon played last week. You're gonna track the road to the championship. If you know me, if you're new to the podcast, I'm an Oregon fan. I'm Oregon fanatic. You know what I'm saying? All sports throughout the university. But right now I'm talking football. Number 6 in the country, lost one game to the number 5 team in the country, which is Washington right now. So I think we're at 8-1, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I may be giving us one more win that we really have. I think we're 8-1 though. And we're coming, trotting along through the Pac-12 schedule. Last year of the Pac-12, as you know, a lot of the teams are spreading out and going to different conferences. Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA are all going to the Big Ten to join all the stalwarts of that division, the Michigans, Ohio States, Penn States of the world, the Nebraskas, the Wisconsin type of vibes. And then Colorado, I don't know who else is going to the Big 12, but I know Colorado is going to the Big 12. Stanford and Cal are supposed to go to the ACC. So this is really the last time, I've talked about it before as well, that we get to play our big rivals. And it's the last time we get to really see this Pac-12 conference as it is, playing against each other and stuff like that. So it means a little more. But at the same time, you know what I mean? We're just trying to win all our games and trot along to get to this college football playoff that this year is still only 4 teams. So we're one of the top one-loss teams out here trying to hold serve. Last week we played against Cal, which is not really the most challenging teams in the Pac-12, but any game's a trap game. Pac-12 likes to cannibalize itself. Any game, any week, you can lose to a Pac-12 team because you play each other so much. There's years and years of rivalries, years and years of records being put up against each other. So it's always good to beat a Pac-12 team, especially if one that's good on its way to the potentially college football playoff. It's always cool to be that team that is that team's bump in the road for bragging rights and stuff like that. So no matter who the opponent is, no matter what they're ranked, you can't take any game lightly. And Oregon didn't do that at all. At first, the game is a little shaky. It was a raining game out there in Eugene. Really, really sloppy. First couple drives, we turned the ball over on some crazy stuff. First drive, I think it was. First pass, it may have been. Pass right to Tez Johnson's chest. He caught the ball and kind of like let it go, but it ended up going right into a defender's hand. It was a turnover, which led them down to kick a field goal. I think we scored after that, making it 7-3, stopped them on defense. I forgot exactly what we did. I think we turned it over. They turned it over or something like that. But then we gave them good field position. At the same time, we're doing a run play, receiver went in motion, Tez Johnson again, and the center hiked the ball, hit Tez Johnson in the leg, causing a fumble. Cal got the ball in our red zone, was able to score. But the end score ended up being 63-19. So if you weren't watching the beginning of the game, you would have never known this happened, because once we got the ball and started rolling after we settled in with the rain, we started to blow him out. Bo Nix himself he was responsible for 6 touchdowns. He went 29 for 38, 386 yards, 4 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Our running back, Bucky Irvin, the star running back right now in the country. Everybody's looking at him. 18 for 89, 1 touchdown. Wasn't his best game, but he picked up first downs and scored when we needed to. When we gained that separation, to try to kind of put our foots on their necks and kind of let them know that we were actually going to win. Tez Johnson had a great game after those 2 turnovers. He caused 12 catches for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. Troy Franklin always doing his thing, 8 catches for 79 yards, a touchdown. Jordan James, I'm saying him and Bucky Irving are tied for running back touchdowns in the Pac-12, 8 apiece. So I think they both scored 1, making it 9 apiece. And of course, Trayshawn Holden and Travis Ferguson both got touchdowns. Putting up 63 points on a team is kind of messed up, but at the same time, when you're really close to teams in the college football playoff rankings, in the committee's eyes, they take note in how much you beat teams by, especially if teams in your division that are close to you, like say Washington played a Cal really closely, and Cal almost beat a Washington. If we beat them by that big of a distance, it just kind of gives us credibility and against Washington when it comes down to it, and then to try to decide who's going to get in the playoffs when it really comes down to it. But yeah, we were able to beat them. Again, we're just trotting along. You got USC in Eugene this week. USC has been, on the downslide ever since they, got their first loss. But I'll talk about that Washington versus USC game in a minute, because it did have really big standings on what happens next for us. Because again, Oregon's trotting along in their Pac-12, conference play. And if they do win, have one of the best records in that conference, they will play Washington again, which really is going to look good for the committee if we do beat them in the second time we play them in the not college football playoff, but the Pac-12 championship. You know what I mean? Especially because we only lost by 3, and that was due to a missed field goal by a kicker, Camden Lewis, who's having a terrible year this year. But he missed the field goal, which would have tied the game. So, yeah, I think the committee sees that. And if we do get to play Washington again and actually play them and do what we're supposed to do and beat them, like we had a lead and not let them come back this time, I think we'll be able to sneak our way into the playoffs, be the one-loss team that sneaks their way in after Michigan plays Ohio State, after Georgia plays, Alabama or something like that. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what it turns out to be. But USC, again, though, we talk about this because Caleb Williams is supposed to be the number 1 quarterback coming into the NFL draft next year. And there's a lot of people in the NFL thinking that a lot of these teams that are, you know, not really figuring it out in the NFL are going to start tanking for Caleb. At the beginning of the season, he was such a highly touted prospect that everybody was saying that, of course, teams that know they have no chance throughout the season should automatically start tanking for him. He's a next generational prospect, the second coming of Patrick Mahomes. That's what all the talking heads kind of say. But the last couple of games, man, his team wasn't showing up for him, and he wasn't really able to showcase his talents like he has been able to the last couple of years. They've took some bad L's, and kind of exposed Caleb a little bit, as far as how he reacts to the pressure of being overwhelmed with teams that are better than his, as well as, just some of the mistakes he can be prone to making. Yeah, some games where he had multiple interceptions, games against Cal where he's almost lost to them. And I can't put that all on him because the defensive coordinator and the defense period for USC is trash. So they're not really doing a good job of showcasing the talents of Caleb Williams, kind of like CU and Sedor Sanders right now. It's like they're good quarterbacks, and they, at the beginning of the season, were putting on that display until they got up against these teams that are kind of better in the conference. Their offensive lines weren't able to hold up, and they're getting sacked all over the place, aren't able to set their feet, not able to throw the ball. And even if they are able to make plays and do something, the defense lets up. Well, in USC's case, the other team is always able to score more points. It's like you don't want him to get in shootouts every game and have to expend himself that much every game, because he's not gonna have nothing left at the end of the season. Right now, they're 7-3. You saw after he played this game against Washington, I mean, it was a back and forth shootout. It was 52-42. I thought USC could possibly win this game against Washington just because when they played us, their defense looks acceptable. A couple of games they played against Arizona State and a couple of other teams where and Stanford, I think it was, their defense gave up a lot of plays, and those lower ranked teams played them really close. So we thought USC may be able to give them be able to give Washington everything they got, especially with Caleb. He's going to come out and do his thing, find every receiver out there. The running back, Marshawn Lloyd, has been getting off. I don't know if he was hurt in this game against Washington, but either way, I mean, it was in USC. So I thought it was possible that Caleb would come out there and give the Huskies their first loss. But in a sense, I was hoping Huskies wouldn't lose, let them be undefeated. So when we do play them, us being an undefeated team and it being a team that beat us before will give us that much credit. That was me talking selfishly. But again, I wanted USC to beat them because, huck the Fuskies, fuck the Huskies. What? I mean, I didn't mean to say fuck the Huskies, but I meant to say huck the Fussies? Whatever. You know how I go. Anyways, yeah, so that game didn't turn out how it was, and we saw him showing emotion when he jumped into the stands and was crying to his mom. That was a sad sight, and the media was all over it, man. He couldn't even let out its emotions about how he just keeps losing, how it's affecting his mindset and how it's affecting his mental, man. It's easy for him to accept all the adulation and praise, but when it comes down to him losing and it comes down to everything being on him and people being in his face after taking losses, it's just hard. And we saw him let it all out, and he should be able to have that private moment with his mom, but we got the cameras and phones out all the time, and I feel sorry for him a little bit. But at the same time, man, if they're gonna praise you like you Jesus, don't, you got to be strong enough to take it when they throw them rocks at you, brother. But big ups to him, man. We play him this week. I think it's us. I hope he has a bad game next week too. I can't have you having a good team. It's gonna be a rough one for you. Hopefully our defense holds up, and I think we got it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, 7:30. If you guys want to watch the game, this is a Saturday episode, so tonight watch that. Depending on when you watch this episode or listen to this episode, it's gonna be a good game. It's in Eugene, USC versus number 6 Oregon. Let's see what we got. So let's move into this NFL. Last week, week 9, had some predictions for y'all. I hope y'all took them to the bank. Hope y'all was able to make some money off those picks. If I lost y'all some money, I'm sorry. Hope I was just adding information. You know what I'm saying? I was just adding to your information to try to help y'all win. I told you I don't take it to the bank. Don't be mad at me because it's not betting advice. It's just advice that I got in my head, just some stuff that I thought was gonna happen. That may have happened, it may not have happened. You know what I'm saying? So whenever it comes to gambling, especially sports gambling, you don't just go off of what somebody says. You take it as a, consideration and evidence into the research that you're doing to pick your picks. You know what I'm saying? So I was giving you a little some, a little insight from this sports brain. 32 years of information up in here. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to do a little something, but anyways, let me get right into it. Thursday night last week, we had the Titans versus Steelers. Ugly game. I don't know if I watched too much of it because a lot of these Thursday night football games be trash. I'm sorry, Amazon, that you had to get all these games that be trash. Last 2 years, a lot of them have not been good. But the Titans lost to the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was able to win 20-16. Somehow Pittsburgh keeps winning. Every time I watch them, the offense looks atrocious, but the defense always is able to, shut down the opposing team enough to give Kenny Pickett and company a chance. And then at the last second, the Pittsburgh Steelers end up scoring and winning. That's always how it ends up on Red Zone, how I see it, when I watch the highlights. But yeah, Steelers 5-3 now. Titans fall to 3-5. The Sunday games, we had the morning 6:30 games. If you were up early enough to watch this one, this was the Germany game. We had the Dolphins versus the Chiefs. Man, at the beginning of the game, it was interesting. It was definitely a tale of two halves. The Chiefs were blowing the Miami Dolphins out in the beginning. 21-0 in the first half. We thought it was about to be a blowout. But then second half, the Miami Dolphins came out scoring some points, scoring fast too. So I thought there was a chance for Miami to come back and win that game. But ultimately, Tua or Tyreek actually fumbled, making a mistake. And that was in the first half, I think. That was in the first half. So I think that turnover, along with another turnover in the second half, stopped the momentum of the Miami offense. The running game wasn't working like it usually does. Actually, the running game has been getting shut down a lot the last couple of games. Most of that has been scoring for people in fantasy, but it's like 1 yard, 2 yard runs, maybe 12-yard runs from the red zone. He hasn't really been making much happen. And also Waddle's getting injured a lot, you know what I'm saying? So people are kind of downplaying what Miami can do in the playoffs now because they're everybody's early playoff pick. But Kansas City's another monster. And at the same time, Kansas City's not doing the best either. They've been doing bad against a lot of mediocre teams, and Travis Kelce's been disappearing in spots. It's just interesting to see him get it done each week. Something just Mahomes is able to get it done every week, and something miraculously happens for him to actually get it done, and he's doing it, and it works. I think what's the record for them? The Chiefs are 7-2. Dolphins fall to 6-3. Vikings played the Falcons. I'm proud of the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? They had a rookie quarterback go out with a concussion. They traded for Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs, it's his first week, maybe first week there. Comes in and guides them to a victory, scrambling, throwing touchdown passes. Josh Dobbs, man, he's smart. He's a rocket scientist. Everybody's saying how smart he was, and he was really able to pick up that playbook and get it done. So I'm proud of him for that. So it's 5-4. The Vikings are 5-4. The Falcons fall to 4-5. As far as who I picked, I'm sorry I didn't even tell you guys, but for the Steelers Titans, I picked the Steelers. So if you picked them, good job. Dolphins and Chiefs. I think I did pick the Dolphins based on how the Chiefs performed last week. So that obviously wasn't right. And then the Vikings and the Falcons, I'm always going to pick against other NFC South people. So I definitely got that one right for the Vikings winning 31-28. Next game was the Bears and Saints. I got this one for me was more so wishful thinking. I picked the Bears to win over the Saints, and the Saints kind of just, it was a close game. Tyler Badgett was able to keep it close a little bit with the Saints. Derek Carr is always going to make a couple of mistakes to keep it close. But then overall, the Saints' weapons were able to overpower the Bears' defense. And, of course, the Saints' defense was going to obviously make Tyler Badgett make a mistake eventually. So the Saints were able to win 24-17. Saints go up to 5-4. Bears fall to 2-7. And I didn't get that one right. Rams played the Green Bay Packers. Rams are really, really down bad right now. They lost 20-3 to the lowly Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, at home out there in Lambeau. Jordan Love actually did need the game to keep that fan base on his side. If he lost to the backup quarterback over there, I don't know if it was Tyler Rippon. I don't know who it was over there, the backup quarterback for the Rams. But if he lost to them without Matthew Stafford, yeah, they was going to boo him out of town. So, yes, I did pick Green Bay to win this game. Green Bay goes up to 3-5. The Rams fall to 3-6, which is crazy. The next game, Commanders versus the Patriots. Commanders were able to win that game. Oh, man, that game was probably a slosh fest. I don't know what I just said there, slosh fest. But it's probably really boring to watch. The Patriots were able to, no, they lost. I predicted the Commanders to win and bounce back from losing last week. I think they got whooped by the Ravens, but they were able to win this game 20-17, moving up to 4-5. Patriots fall to 2-7. I did predict that right. Seahawks played the Ravens. The Ravens whooped on the Seahawks 37-3. Um, Man, the Ravens are rolling right now. Their offense is clicking, and I don't even think Lamar Jackson has to play his best. The running backs, they have like a running back committee of like 3 running backs, and they all can make plays. And they're running, and the receivers too can just all make stuff happen in space. Zay Flowers, well, I don't know if Bateman's injured or not, but I know Odell Beckham, I think, scored a touchdown as well. His first touchdown of the season. His first touchdown of the season. So excuse me, they're rolling 7-2. The Ravens are 7-2. The Seahawks fall to 5-3. I predicted that one right as well. So if you picked the Ravens to win, good on you. Next game, it was the Buccaneers versus the Texans, which this game personally makes me so mad and made me kind of give up on football this season, man. I really did. This was so disheartening. This game was so disheartening. Me even thinking about it just kind of rages me back up, and I don't even want to go there mentally. So I'm just going to be calm and talk about this game. So firstly, the Buccaneers started off really slow. For some reason, our offensive play calling is really, really dull. Dave Canales, man, I like him a lot. I like the difference in play calling since last year when we had Byron Leftwich. Rashad White is really doing more things as far as like being able to get past the line of scrimmage and actually get yards and running plays. But for some reason, our team chooses to rotate running backs that can't even get past the line of scrimmage. Keyshawn Vaughn does not need to be in the game no more. If you're going to use Chase Edmonds, use him in Keyshawn Vaughn's place. Because what we're doing really is slowing down Rashad White's momentum. The more he gets the ball, the better he starts to do. The more he sees the openings in the line, the more he's able to get through and get wiggling, especially in the check down scene, especially in the screen game. He's able to get in space and shake people and get to places he needs to go. It's just once he does that, this rotation just, I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to trick the defense into thinking that we're not going to hand off the ball by putting in another running back, or I don't know if Rashad White is actually tired and they're just putting it in for. But it just seems like it's just a drive killer, and it kills me. We'll get a first down, a big gain from somebody, and then we'll hand it off to a backup running back up the middle for 0 yards. Now we're starting second down, and it's an incomplete pass. Now it's 3rd and fucking 10. And what do you expect us to do? It's just sorry for cussing, y'all. Really, it just really makes me so mad. What's going on here? Just make up your mind. Do you want to commit to the run, or do you just want to do nonsense and just do passes that are close to the line of scrimmage? And if they don't work, we take no shot plays. Mike Evans is wide open. We have check downs, crossing across the field wide open. Baker just locks on the target. And I'm not even gonna blame Baker because Baker played great this game. We put up 37 points. And when it mattered, we had a drive in the fourth quarter to put up points and get in the end zone to put us up. But our defense was terrible. It was terrible. Just like this whole season, we cannot guard anybody or stop anybody on third down. And for some reason, our cornerbacks, we pay a whole bunch of money, don't know how to play, don't want to press nobody. I get it. You want to play zone, but you don't have to be 10 yards off of a receiver when it's 3rd and 10. What do you think they're gonna do? It's like, bro, I don't understand. Like, press this man. Like, he's going to get to the sticks. You're 12 yards off the ball. They need 10. It makes no sense. Our corner that we paid the most money is getting hit for 3 touchdowns against a rookie quarterback. CJ Stroud went out there and threw for almost 500 yards and like 5 touchdowns, having a rookie record against us. It's terrible. Our DBs have been getting hit all year. Like, it's just a mixture of bullshit that's going to be the downfall of our team. We're wasting the primes of these athletes that are going to be here that may not be here in the next couple of years because everything's going to be torn down hella late because the coaches don't decide to make no trades at the deadline, basically punting on the season every week. I think we lost 4 games in a row. After every game, they make it seem like nothing's wrong with the team, bro. It's like, no. Our strong safety, our strong safety is trash. Antoine Winfield, our free safety, is nasty. He knows what he's doing. He makes every play for our defense. But our other safety gives up touchdowns every time he touches the field. Then he gets pulled. And then our corner gives up 3 touchdowns, burnt down the field. And then it's like, what? Our starting other corner gets a concussion off of what? Getting shook? He got shook on a slant for a touchdown, and then all of a sudden he stays on the ground with a fucking concussion? It's just terrible to watch, man. all these other backup rookie quarterbacks and these backup running backs with these backup linemen always seem to make stuff work. But when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we can't make nothing pop. What's going on? And I'm getting really angry, and that's not my vibe for this Saturday. And I don't really want to talk too much about these Buccaneers because they're really pissing me off, especially coming off of last year when they pissed me off the most. But I thought it was gonna be okay because we had Tom Brady, and then he retires, bro. We started off so well. We started off so well. And for us to be here sitting in the mud when the Steelers are 5-3, the Houston Texans are 4-4. Like who? Let me see these other records in this shit. The Bengals are 5-3 after having a terrible start. The Seahawks are 5-3. The Vikings are 5-4. The Vikings are 5-4. Without Kirk Cousins, without Justin Jefferson, without Dalvin Cook, they are 5-4. Excuse my lips. Oh my God. It makes no sense to me. I think it's like it has to be, oof, man. It just hurts so much because I feel like they're doing it on purpose. It's like so many weeks cannot be real. Nobody else in the NFL looks this bad. Nobody else. Anyways, the Buccaneers fall to 3-5. The Texans move up to 4-4. They won 39-37. At the last second of the game, with no timeouts, drove down the field, scored a touchdown with 40 seconds left. This is a fucking rookie court. Browns versus the Cardinals. Browns are able to win at home 27-0. The Cardinals were looking down bad, but good news is Kyler Murray's coming back and starting this week. I'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to my predictions when I talk about who they play. The Browns go up to 5-3, and the Cardinals fall to 1-8. Colts versus the Panthers. Colts did their thing, winning 27-13 in Carolina. I'm really happy they did win because I wanted them to win. I predicted them to win. And I also predicted the Browns to win. Excuse me, man. And I didn't predict the Bucks to win. I did predict the Bucks to win, and they didn't. So you should already know how I worked up about that. But I was right about the Browns game. I was right about the Panthers versus Colts game. The Colts go up to 4-5. The Panthers fall to 1-7. Giants played the Raiders in a game where, yeah, I didn't even watch because I thought it would be a poop fecta game. That's Bill Simmons. If you guys listen to Bill Simmons, I don't want y'all to think I made that up. It's not. It was just a game that was very, very shitty. Shitty from title, and I didn't really tune in that much. It wasn't one of my red zone games. I'm not gonna lie to you. May have popped up once or twice, but I didn't pay attention to it really. But the Raiders won 30-6 over the Giants. Raiders are celebrating the firing of Josh McDaniels and the cutting of Jimmy Garoppolo. I guess everybody was really happy about that and played really inspired football. I was able to score at will against the Giants and able to push their record up to 4-5. The Raiders are 4-5. The Raiders, without a head coach, without a starting quarterback, 4-5. What are we? What are we? Cowboys versus the Eagles. The Eagles were able to hold off the Cowboys and go 8-1. Cowboys fall to 5-3. The game was good, man. It just there were some mistakes in the game that caused the Cowboys to lose it. One being on 2-point conversion, Dak Prescott stepping out of bounds before he extended the ball to touch the pylon. Another one, their rookie tight end caught a ball in the end zone. I think it was on 4th down for a touchdown, but his knee went down and the ball wasn't across the line before his knee went down, which was a turnover. And ultimately those points on the board would have helped the Cowboys win. So I guess I understand how Michael Parsons said they learned a lot of lessons throughout this game to things they could take for the next time they play the Eagles and try to win that game because it was a divisional game. And people kind of got on his helmet for that because they were thinking that he wasn't taking accountability for the fact that they got outscored by by the Eagles. But he was, if you look at it, if you're watching the game, he's kind of right. They're able to push the ball down the field with CeeDee Lamb and other receivers. They're doing their thing, actually able to put up points. But if they didn't make those miscues, they probably would have been able to put the Eagles away. But it is what it is. The score what it was. These two teams are going to probably be playing maybe in the playoffs or, fighting it out to see who wins the division. So, yeah, It was a good game. But I did predict the Eagles to win. For the Raiders and Giants game, I predicted the Giants to win, and they definitely didn't win. In the Eagles Cowboys game, I predicted the Eagles to win, and the Bills and Bengals for the Sunday night football game. The Bengals won 24-18. Joe Burrow and company on a roll now. After Joe Burrow got healthy, he's like, fuck it, I'm making shit pop. But they were able to win. The Bills are doing some soul searching right now. Their record's still 5-4, way better than ours. But they're supposed to be the top crop every year, and they seem to run into this kind of trouble every year. As far as like having high expectations and them kind of falling short as far as losing the teams that they shouldn't lose to, or losing early in the playoffs right before the big game, as far as AFC championship and stuff like that. And this team is kind of like in championship or bust right now, because they got their players in their prime, and they're supposed to do it a couple of years ago, and these players are getting old, and people are getting hurt, and every year they deal with a bunch of injuries. But yeah, the Bengals moved to 5-3, Bills fall to 5-4, and I did predict this one right, surprisingly. Monday Night Football, Chargers versus Jets. Chargers won this one 27-6. It was a terrible game to watch. Terrible game to watch. Terrible for me in fantasy. Justin Herbert wasn't able to do nothing. The Jets defense was able to lock them down. All their mistakes were done on offense, the Jets. So they were able to get a bunch of turnovers, the Chargers. So they were able to score in short fields, or able to score on defense, which gave them a lot of their scores. And they scored a couple of times with Austin Eckler from the 1 yard line in the red zone due to those turnovers. So they're able to get that victory. Hopefully they start doing better, man. 4-4. Again, the Chargers are better than us. It's just so crazy that all these teams that started so bad are now have better records than us. It's just the Jets. The Jets. This is gonna be crazy. But Jets are 4-4 and the Chargers are 4-4, but the Chargers did get this one, and I did predict them Charger boys to win. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 10 out of 13. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I probably won you some money if you talk and listening right. You know what I'm saying? I'm here every week. I'm here every week doing this. You know what I'm saying? Keep me accountable. Last year I wanted y'all to keep me accountable. This time I'm writing them down. I'm reflecting, letting you guys know what I got right. That I don't know my record necessarily as far as how many each week, but if you guys can tally it on the side, let me know in the comments if I'm doing y'all right. If I am, again, my Cash App is somewhere up there. Hopefully AKA got that for me one of these times, if he listens to this stuff when he's making videos. Who knows what his process is. But thank you for doing it every time, AKA. We love you out there. But week 10 preview, let me get into these spreads and these games and my predictions. So get your pen and pencil ready if you want to make some money like you did this week. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't want to listen to me, plug your ears right now. Because, I'm about to give my picks. Week 10 preview, baby. We got Carolina at Chicago. Chicago's favored by 3.5 points, which is interesting to see. But I got Chicago because they play in the Panthers. No further questions, Your Honor. Indianapolis Colts at New England. Colts are favored by a point and a half. I got the Colts of this one because I got Jonathan Taylor on my fantasy team, and I wish him no evil. You know what I mean? Cleveland Browns at Baltimore. Baltimore is favored by 6.5 points. I got Baltimore. They're on the roll. Even though Cleveland's defense is really good, I think Deshaun Watson is coming back, and he's not looking too good at practice right now. I think he does have something wrong with his shoulder, and I think the Ravens are actually going to be able to do more and score more and get more done. So that's who I got. I got the Ravens in that game. We got Houston at Cincinnati. I don't know, just how CJ Stroud did us last week. I feel like I got a new enemy in the NFL, so I'm going against Houston. I'm going against them, Cincinnati, and they're on the roll anyways. They're favored by 6.5 at home. I got Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. 49ers are back in action after coming off a bye. They're in Jacksonville against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The San Francisco 49ers are favored by 3 points in Jacksonville. This game, I don't know, man. Jacksonville sometimes is up and down when it comes to their performance. Hopefully it's not a rainy game out there because that's going to favor the 49ers for sure. Deebo Samuel is supposed to be back. I think Trent Williams is supposed to be back too. Jacksonville, they've been on a little run. They've been on a little run, so we'll see. I don't think they played last week because I remember saying their record. I think they're on a bye as well. Both teams coming off bye, so it's not nobody has an advantage. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's good to see. But I do got Jacksonville in this game. I think the 49ers have a tough schedule coming down the pike, and I think it's kind of going to expose Brock Purdy a little bit. I don't think he's terrible, but I think this stretch may just kind of expose him a little bit. But he may lose this one, but he's playing Tampa next week after that, so I think they'll be fine and be able to win that one. So I got Jacksonville in this one. Saints versus Minnesota, favored by 3 at Minnesota. Minnesota starting Josh Dobbs. I hope he can figure out a way to beat the Saints, and that's all I have for it. No, I mean Addison, I got him on fantasy team. I'm starting him in space of Tyreek and AJ Brown. Those are my 2 star receivers for fantasy, and they both have buys this week. So I'm hoping Jordan Addison with Josh Dobbs can be a connection to make something happen to get me that victory. But I do got the Minnesota Vikings over the Saints because I'm gonna pick them every time over the Saints. God damn it! Don't even ask why. Green Bay versus Pittsburgh. Green Bay at Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is going to be able to do enough on defense to stop Green Bay's attack. And also, Green Bay gave up Rasul Douglas to the Bills. So I think their defense is susceptible to some passing game. Deontay Johnson's coming alive. I think they'll get what's his name? George Pickens more involved after he's been complaining a little bit. And I think they'll open up their offense a little bit more, especially against a susceptible Green Bay team. So I got Pittsburgh in that game. Tampa Bay at home against Tennessee. Man, we playing another rookie quarterback, Will Levis. If we let another rookie quarterback cook us this week and do us dirty like we got done by C.J. Stroud last week, I'm just going to not even watch Buccaneers games no more. Quote me this season, actually. Just quote me in that right now. If we lose to the Titans before we have to go play the 49ers in embarrassing fashion against this rookie quarterback, if he does anything relatively close to what Will Levis does, I am not watching no more Tampa Bay football. So you guys, Tampa Bay, it's up to you guys. I know you're not listening. If you are, I mess with you. But don't get turned off. Don't get shut out, blacked out for the season, man. Oh my God. I got Tampa. I'm picking Tampa, but y'all better not do me dirty. We're favored by 1 at home. That's how bad it is right now. We're favored by 1 at home. That shit's shady. Falcons at Arizona. Kyler Murray making his return, playing against our nemesis, the team that beat us in our last divisional game. I want Kyler Murray to come and stump a mud hole in these dirty birds. You know what I'm saying? I got Kyler in them. They're not favored. Falcons are favored by 1.5 in Arizona, but I got Kyler to come out there and do his thing in his return. Then we got Detroit at the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going with my Justin Herbert bias. You know what I'm saying? He's an Oregon man. So I'm still going with him to have an upset against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are held up on a pedestal right now. They're one of the class teams of the NFC. So everybody's kind of on their tips right now, thinking that they're the next team in the NFC that might come and try to do it. Be the challenge to who? The 49ers or the Eagles. They may be the number 1 seed based on their schedule, yada, yada, yada. I don't know, man. They still got Jared Goff. He still has to show me. I'm picking the Chargers, even though the Chargers may get destroyed, and I do got a bunch of the Lions pieces on my fantasy team. So I do want them to score points, but I hope the Chargers score 1 more point than the Lions to win the game. I got the Chargers. New York Giants at the Cowboys. Last time Cowboys whooped that ass by like 30-something points. This game I hope is not going to be as bad, just for my sanity and not having to hear the media glaze over these guys for a whole week. But I do got Dallas in this game. They're favored by 17 at home, which is nuts. But I do got Dallas in this game. Seahawks are playing the Commanders at home, favored by 6.5. I got the Seahawks in that game. Jets are favored by the Raiders are favored by a point in Vegas against the Jets. I got the Jets because they have a great defense. They're both playing rookie quarterback or backup quarterback, Zach Wilson against O'Connell. I think O'Connell will make more mistakes on offense due to that good Jets defense. I think the Jets will win that one. Broncos at the Bills. The Bills have lost to too many bad teams this season. I think they lost last game. They're mad. They're doing some soul searching at a team-only meeting. They're favored by 7.5 at home. I think they'll go out there and put a whooping on the Broncos, but the Broncos have been feisty lately, so I don't know. Beware. It could be an upset in the waiting, but I do got the Bills in that game. So to recap the games that I have picked for y'all, and if you want to write them down, if you want to win some money, if you want to put them in there, but hey, again, it's not gambling advice necessarily. It's just something to consider if you do gamble in the states that gambling is allowed. These are the teams that I would pick if I was voting. Besides the NFC South teams, don't listen to those. If you want to skip on some, skip on those because there's all bias there, all bias there, and in the Chargers game probably too because yeah, it's probably when the Lions will win. There's a lot of bias there, but I'm going for my guys. I ride for my guys, and I'm loyal for my guys. You know what I'm saying? So those are the teams pick. But to recap the picks, I got Chicago at home over Carolina. I got Indianapolis at New England, winning over the Patriots. I got the Baltimore Ravens winning at home against the Browns. I got Cincinnati at home against the Texans. I got the Jaguars at home against the 49ers. I got the Minnesota Vikings at home against the Saints. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at home against the Green Bay Packers. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home against the Tennessee Titans. You guys better not do me dirty, I swear, I swear. I got the Cardinals over the Falcons at home. I got the Chargers versus the Lions at home. I got Cowboys versus the Giants at home. I got Seattle. Dang, I'm picking all the home teams in this shit, it seems like. I got Seattle over the Commanders at home. The Jets in Vegas over the Vegas Raiders. And I got Buffalo Bills at home against the Denver Broncos. So take that to the bank if you want to take that to the bank. But yeah, let's move out of this NFL talk and let's get into this NBA talk. Sorry guys, so I'll be long talking on the sports talk, but if you guys like it, I'm sure you guys like it. That's why you guys listen. When I don't do sports, you guys are always sad. But I was a big string of pop culture, like when the sports weren't really popping right now, but the sports are popping right now. So I do apologize if you're, you know, on a different hype. But I'm getting to the pop culture. I'm getting to Cinema Corner. I know y'all want to hear about the Loki review. That I got a little bit of information for y'all, but sorry, I had to get some water. NBA. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA, man. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Let's talk about it. It's been good to us. Denver Nuggets coming back. You know what I'm saying? We talked about ring ceremony on the earlier episode. But the NBA is in full motion. We had play-in tournament games already. Game 5 was a play-in game against the Dallas Mavericks. We have another play-in game on Tuesday against the Clippers. But ultimately, man, I'm just here to talk about how I feel about the Nuggets team. Everything is still forming into shape for everybody else. So I don't make too many judgments about everybody else's teams, you know what I'm saying? But I can speak to you guys about the Nuggets because I'm watching Summer League. I'm watching everything coming into the season. I'm watching the draft. I'm watching the players. I'm watching our team form and see if we can go back to back and be the same team we were last year, if not better, to try to make that repeat at a mini dynasty or just going back to back for the first time in I don't even know how many years. But each game, we don't want to look too far forward. We want to take each game at a time, and that's what our team has been performing like. From game 1, we've been, we played the Lakers, handled business on ring night. Second game, I think we handled business as well. We didn't lose to anybody except for Minnesota Timberwolves, who are going to be our pain in our thigh all season and maybe even into the playoffs, depending on seeding. Their lineup is just going to cause a lot of the good teams some trouble. I mean, it's all going to depend on their scoring as well. They can do some damage to people. Just that too big lineup is just a little unorthodox, and it's going to take a lot of game planning. I mean, maybe after the first couple times playing Timberwolves and after they're on TV a couple of times, people will see how they play and kind of learn how to counter that. But just for Jokic in general, it's just kind of tough for him to do his thing when they have two bigs. Two damn near 7-footers playing at the same time on the floor, causing, Jokic to have to guard Rudy Gobert, putting Aaron Gordon on Karl Anthony Towns, and just having perimeter shooting to kick out to Anthony Edwards. I always forget to say Anthony Edwards, who's just putting up 40 at ease, just doing whatever he wants to, driving to the basket, shooting. When his three-pointer is on, he can hit 40 any day. You know what I'm saying? He gets to the line. They're dangerous. I mean, they're able to not even have Jokic be guarded by Rudy Gobert. They can have a smaller guy guard him and then have Rudy Gobert roaming in the paint if Jokic actually decides to come in there. They just deploy different things. They have really a big point guard, McDaniels, that guards Jamal Murray really well. He's a big guard who is physical with Murray, who's able to get some shit up. And they have Mike Conley as well, the veteran out there to kind of keep everything together. So they are a really big thorn. They have Kyle Anderson, Slow-Mo out there, kind of a bunch of annoying players that are able to be really efficient and get stuff done if you really let them. I can't stand Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert. So that as well. Them being out of division is just a rivalry thing that just kind of gets under my skin, and they whooped us too. Right now we're 8-1. We won every other game since. A lot of them handily. We just played the Warriors. And no Draymond Green, but we don't have Murray either. Murray is dealing with some hamstring tightness. Actually, may have had a strained hamstring because he's out for the whole month. But we're actually learning about our team without him, learning about rotations, learning about players from the bench. Our backups are doing really well. Peyton Watson after last year, he got a lot of burn towards the end of the season when we sat a lot of players going into the playoffs. When he got his spots, he was able to play the Aaron Gordon role, kind of guard the team's best player, kind of do what he can do to kind of shut teams down and do what he can defensively. His offensive game is kind of coming around. Dunking the ball, he's a highlight waiting to happen, Duncan. He's starting to try to get his shot together. He doesn't really have a three-point shot. He'll shoot it, but he doesn't really have it together. He's able to play backup point, power forward. Christian Braun kind of playing the Bruce Brown role. Once his game comes more together offensively as far as his shooting, he's going to be great too. He might be better than Bruce Brown. He's out there hustling. He makes hustle plays, not afraid to attack the rim. And ones, he's defense, he's shutting shit down, stealing the ball. KCP stealing. Everybody's just stepping up. We have Reggie Jackson playing the backup point guard right now, scoring great, playing great in the absence of Jamal Murray. He scored 20 against the Warriors. MPJ playing great, scoring 20, grabbing rebounds. The team is coming together. Rookie Julian Strawther out of Gonzaga, 4 years in Gonzaga. He's just a sniper, man. He went in one game. We went 8 for 11, 5 threes. 21 points off the bench as a rookie, man. Experienced rookies is what we drafted and try to replace some of the voids that left with Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, and we try to just kind of like Reggie Jackson didn't really play much last year. Zeke Naji didn't really play much last year. We re-signed DeAndre Jordan to be that presence that if Jokic does need a break, if he's not playing one game, we have to start Zeke Naji. DeAndre can be the backup center and catch lobs because that is still effective, though he can't really shoot free throws too well. People are throwing lobs to him. Reggie Jackson will find him. Christian Brown will find him. So we're playing well, and it's showing out there, man. It can buy us some time. Jamal might be out all of November. So the way teams have been playing, our team has been playing right now, and the wins we were able to pocket, it gives us separation from the other teams, and because we're in first place right now I think the next team is like 6-2, 6-3. I think the only other team that is above, right next to us or close to us is Dallas, and we beat Dallas, so we have a tiebreaker over them. The Warriors lost their third game, losing to us, so we're separating for some of the good teams and kind of getting to where we want to be. Yeah, man, and Jokic is just a monster. Right? What should I say, man? He's already has a couple of triple doubles in the game, in the season, passing LeBron James and Jason Kidd for career triple doubles already. He's only 28, 29 years old. So, man, it's just lovely to see that he is able to still be able to orchestrate and make other players better in the absence of Jamal Murray. We knew what they did together in the playoffs, and we thought that's what we were going to see all season long. But there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be peaks and valleys. People are going to get hurt, and it's going to take the whole season to see what we have, especially in those situations in the playoffs and in mid-season when it does get pretty rough, who we're going to be able to put in the game and trust in the absence of our good players or when our good players are having off nights. So it's good to see, and I'm happy to see it. Just to talk a little bit around the league, I talked about the Timberwolves already. The Lakers are struggling, man. We thought they was going to come out and just give everybody a run. This is not me talking shit, okay? Just trust me. Everybody else could talk about the Lakers, so can I on my podcast. You know what I'm saying? They're just not starting well. I think Anthony Davis is hurt with a hip right now. I think Vanderbilt isn't playing. Rui Hachimura just came back. Austin Reeves hasn't been playing like expected to play. He was expected to play. I think they're sitting at 3-4 or something right now, maybe 3-5. They're playing the Suns tonight, who Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, they're not trying to lose any more games either. It might be a tournament game if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they're gonna be going hard, and they're playing LeBron James a whole bunch of minutes already, which wasn't the plan at the beginning of the year. He was supposed to be able to coast. The other Lakers were supposed to show up and take bigger roles to help the Lakers get to more of a promising start than last year when they're like 3-10 or something like that. But they're headed in the same direction they were last year. I don't know if their strategy is to, just kind of coast through the season and just do it through the play-in tournament like last year and just beat whoever's in the playoffs that they get matched up against. But I don't know if it's gonna work this time like that. LeBron is getting older again. It's gonna take some, work and some time for all these players to get to get together and start for us to start seeing cohesion within the team because yeah, it seems like there's some awkward pieces in the team. We saw him being signed in the offseason. We thought they was going to fit in and be able to slide into the Lakers team and just get, be good and be great. But we haven't seen Gabe Vincent. I think he's hurt as well. Anthony Davis is hurt. Vanderbilt, who played well for them on defense, is hurt. LeBron's playing a bunch of minutes, man. It's bad when you can have Dylan Brooks talking mess before a game and actually go out there and do something and help his team smack the Lakers. He may not have shut down LeBron, but he did what he was able to do, have his team win. Yeah, man, I love Dylan Brooks as being an Oregon alum. It's just that the shit talking the person that is becoming an NFL, I don't know if it's a character or what, but it's kind of getting hard to support him sometimes. But I mean, yeah, he got the job done. You know what I'm saying? It's not a LeBron thing. I'm a LeBron fan. And it's not because he's talking mess to LeBron. It's just that I'm tired of seeing him getting kicked out of games. I'm tired of seeing him get fined. I'm tired of seeing him get labeled as a villain, man. Dylan Brooks is one of my favorite players at Oregon. He did big things for Oregon and helped us get pretty far in March Madness. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he should be heralded more so rather than, being villainized every game. Like he definitely is. But yeah, let's get up out of this in the NBA and let's talk a little about let's see, let's get into this fantasy real quick. Fantasy football, Best of Bias podcast, Best of Bias Invitational, excuse me. It is week 10 or week 9 just passed. It is week 10 actually, but the week 9 scores came out and results from week 9 are popping right now, sitting right in front of me. I'm not too happy about it. I'm happy K-Swag got a victory though, because he was sitting down in the bottom. And sometimes it does get pretty rough seeing you lose every week and sit down there and not making any movement in the standings. Not talking shit. I'm not promising you, I'm not talking shit. But it is dope that you did get a win. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm mad it had to be at my expense, but after I saw that I would still be in first place again. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying that I was still again in first place, though I lost. It was cool. It was cool because I know you was probably discouraged. I've been playing fantasy football with K Swag for a lot of years. You know what I'm saying? We've been through the ups and the downs together. Injuries that derailed our season, draft picks that we thought was gonna be raw, and then something always goes down and happens. But I'm happy you were able to get that victory. I think there's like 4 weeks left until the playoffs start, if I'm not mistaken, maybe less. So every win from here on out matters. I'm hoping I don't lose this week, man. I'm playing pay dirt. Um, I shouldn't lose. Gosh darn it. I've been doing good stacking my bench with players that I think will step up in a time of need. It just sucks that 2 of my highest scoring fantasy players have buys on the same week, the week after I lose a game. 2 in a row will not be good for my standings right now. We got 3 players that are 6-3, which I'll get to in a second. So every point counts at this point. You know what I'm saying? So we can't be losing too many more games, but he was able to beat me 123 to 108. Just a running back living paycheck to paycheck. Boy, that was a close ass game between you and Shenanigans. He was able to get that victory. 123.7 to 123.1. I know Shenanigans was mad about that one. Pay Dirt won this week 157 against Nightmare on G Block, 157 to 117. Armpit was able to win 120 to 85 against Dijon's dazzling team, I think it's called. Cam's Catering lost to Sean's championship team 122 to 108. Hot Boys was able to beat You're Not the Boss of Me 102 to 92. It's getting close, man. A lot of these teams have been losing a lot, man. They're winning now. I think first place is 6 wins. Last place, the last 2 places, 11th and 12th place, are 3 wins. So yeah, the standings are really closer than I thought, man. And especially if there's 3 weeks left until playoffs, everybody's technically still legitimately in the standings and in the runnings. Yeah, the last team are 3 wins, 3-6. First place teams are 6-3. So if you win 3 games and the top teams can lose 3 games, it can the league can be turned on its head. So you never know what happens. Let me get to these standings so I can tell you know a little bit more so how close it is. Me, I'm in first place at 6-3. Cam's Catering in second place at 6-3. Armpit in third place at 6-3. Hot Boys in fourth place at 5-4. Shenanigans in fifth place at 5-4. Dijon's team, sixth place at 4-5. Nightmare on G Block at 4-5 in seventh place. Pay Dirt in eighth place at 4-5. Sean's championship team at ninth place at 4-5. K Swag at in 10th place at 4-5. Then we have just a running back living paycheck to paycheck, 3-6, and you're not supposed to be at 3-6. So these standings are really, really close. Really, really close. Oh man. This shit is getting so live, guys. So I hope you guys are watching. I hope you guys are paying attention. Make those waiver claims. Get those teams right. Every Sunday matters from here on out. It's getting crazy. If you guys don't check the standing, if you don't listen to this podcast, I'm warning you right now, man. Shit's getting real. First place, $900. Second place, you get $200. Last place, you get your money back. There's a lot of money up for grabs in this fantasy football league, and I hope everybody's ready and just competing. Don't give up. You may be in last place right now, but there's 3 weeks. There's 3 weeks for you to go 3-0 and make the playoffs. I'm telling you, it's still possible. Anything is still possible. Do not give up. Do not give up. All right, that's enough of sports. I'm moving out of sports now. Hope you guys are ready. Let's take a breath. I know it's been a lot. Let's take a deep breath. Another one together. In, out. In your nose, out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Happy Saturday again. You're with the Best of Bias family. It's the Best of Bias podcast. You know what it is. But let's talk about some pop culture. I haven't talked to you guys about music in a while. And a couple of albums dropped that I think you should give a listen to. You know what I mean? Chris Brown's album is next. His last album, just newest, I should say, album just dropped. It was called 1111. 21 songs, some of that R&B goodness for your soul. I don't know how everybody feels about Chris Brown, but he's one of my favorite artists. That's my bias. So every time he drops an album, I'm gonna talk about it on this pod. You notice a routine when it comes to albums dropping. You know what I'm saying? When those guys drop, when those girls drop, when those people drop, that I need to talk about those ones. I'm gonna talk about him. I'm gonna spend some time to talk about him. And it's been a little bit since I got a little Chris Brown album. And this one I will say is a very good album. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got my ones already marked off, a good 5 or 6 songs that I can go to this album and just play right now. I'm gonna vibe to all 5 and 6. The album itself is 21 records. Though I'm saying I have 6 go-to that I can go to right now. I can listen to the whole thing. There's no bad songs on it, but there's different vibes for all his fans, you know what I'm saying? Different vibes for everybody, you know what I'm saying? I love Afro beats, but I don't like all the Afro beat songs on there. But in the 5 and 6 songs don't include the ones that came out as singles. So if you add Summer's Too Hot, if you add Sensational, that makes 8 out of 21. So we're really close to almost 50% that I can just go through and play. I'm sure I got homies and some lady friends that'll just play the album regardless. And in my eyes, it don't matter to me. I've downloaded the whole full 40 track albums that he's had, and even though I don't listen to all of them, I'm still gonna support. You know, and still be out there and gigging on the floor when it comes down to supporting the songs. You know what I'm saying? Because one, I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for what he does as far as the music industry goes, and I feel like he does get blackballed a lot. A lot of the stuff that a lot of these mainstream artists get, I feel like he doesn't get the notoriety or the space or the room to let people know that he's being done wrong or he deserves to be done better, just based on past actions that happened to him. And I mean, there's been a lot of stuff that came out in the news over the years, and though you may feel some type of way about him, I feel like every person deserves to, one, express their art, two, make money from expressing that art, especially when you have millions of fans that consume your product. And I feel like he should get the notoriety he deserves, just like these other artists when they do things that are notable. in the music industry. You know what I'm saying? It just seems to me that a lot of the artists that are deserving and really creative, and deserve awards don't really get the awards and notoriety. Like, to me, it was really surprising to hear that J. Cole got his like highest charted Billboard song just being on a song with Drake. You know what I'm saying? I would have never known that. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of artists out there that I feel like are really dope, that create really good pieces of work, that are artists that have originality, that get no credit, and everybody else that is super generic or sounds just like the other one, or sounds like a person that is planted in there for the industry or from the industry, that they just trying to like give awards and accolades to kind of rub in our face and tell us that these artists are the best, when half the time they're not the artists that everybody listens to, or they're only the artists that everybody listens to because they're forced down our throat. You know what I'm saying? And what happened to the time where people were able to go out and discover an artist and like that artist just for being different and being themselves? I feel like a lot of the times now they have to conform to what's hot in the industry and kind of just do things that are kind of like not regular to the average artist, just to kind of get popping or get the publicity that they want, that they need to make money. They have to play this game that wasn't around. I mean, I guess it was around before. This wasn't in our faces that much, and there wasn't as much of avenues to do other things to make this money. But I just feel like all it takes is a hit piece from an article or a campaign on Instagram to take away from a person or an artist, when there's artists all over the world, all from different parts of history, who may have made the same mistakes or were made worse mistakes and were either forgiven or weren't as crucified. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. And I just kind of feel like sometimes, he's just hit with too much of the hatred and blame, when this artist here is not going to be here forever. And the stuff that he's given us, he's working hard, bro. All these albums and these tours and this dancing and all the shit that he does to try to entertain us, to make money for himself and his family, that we do consume, hate or love, we could have such an effect on him negatively by just doing stupid shit or saying stupid shit that's not relevant, or that's just hit pieces that are gonna just affect him negatively and not make his money. I know it seems like I'm caping right now, but it's just been too long. He's such a great artist that it seems like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I know, and I agree. The Rihanna stuff was bad. I don't want to bring that up or harp on that or thinking I'm passing it over or they could belittling it or anything like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, not to put us on the same level, not to be jokey with it, but I feel like Ike Turner is held up on a higher pedestal than Chris Brown, and Ike Turner used to beat the hell out of one of our favorite R&B or soul artists, and I feel like people, I don't know. They made movies about this shit, and they then I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. Anyways, let me get off that. But the music is really good. 21 songs, the ones that I like on there. I got them on my written down here. If you guys care at all, I'm gonna kind of get into the ones that I mess with. Let me see if I still got that list on here. Press Me, Bouncing, G5, Feelings Don't Lie, Views, and Make Up Your Mind. Those were the 5 that I was talking about that, hey, just go pop those on and you're gonna vibe with them no matter what. But listen for yourself and you let me know what you liked and what you was feeling. But it's a great album in your phones now if you have any of the Spotify, Apple Music, or anything like that. And if you're old school and want to support the artist that way, go to iTunes and just buy it separately. Actually buy that thing on Apple Music or iTunes or however it goes. But also dropping yesterday was Rick Ross and Meek Mill's album Too Good to Be True. I was particularly interested in this album because, man, me personally, I really liked Rick Ross's albums, his early albums, in the vibe and Rick Ross's style and what he talks about, how he raps. I'm a Rick Ross fan, and as far as Meek Mill goes as well, I'm a really big Meek Mill fan. His rapping ability, just his Philly style, just a lot of the songs that he puts out, just how he be vibing and how he be rapping on tracks is just one of the rappers I think out there that is underrated as far as the lyricism goes. People kind of hate on his personality and just kind of like stuff that he says on Twitter, hate on him for that kind of shit. But when it comes to rapping, there's not many rappers out there left, especially ones that are mainstream that actually rap. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of those that do don't really get the credit that they deserve. Again, another one of the rappers that are out there. I mean, we have our Lil Waynes on the world that, you know me, I'm a Lil Wayne stan, and universally he gets his props. So even if there's something basic that Lil Wayne puts out, people will tweet about it like it's the best thing in the world. And me being forever fan, looking at these youngins like, bro, you don't even know what's popping. But other people, rappers, other than that, the Kendricks, the J. Coles, the Joey Badasses of the world, the Griselda guys, you know what I'm saying? It's the rappers that are actually out there putting pen to, well, everybody doesn't write anymore, but you guys know. From my generation, you millennials, early millennials, 90 babies to the early 2000s, when rapping was rapping, when you have to actually, I mean, I used to do a little rapping myself, you know what I'm saying? Nothing to the super high levels, but man, it's just down to the construction of a verse. You know what I'm saying? It used to be the toughest times, sitting there just thinking for the first line of a verse to go in. The first line has to be hard. Then the first bar has to be hard too. And then keep it on going, rhymes, stanzas, shit that hit people over the head, make them think and make them dance at the same time. Those were the days. Now people just go out and just yell on tracks and just repetitive choruses, and that be half the song, and 1 minute and 30-second songs where it builds you up and just cuts off right away. It's just a whole different kind of music. It's just different. You know what I mean? But hearing Meek Mill, hearing Rick Ross together on this album, going back and forth on some dope beats that kind of took me back to the old Rick Ross albums. It was crazy. They both were spitting, hearing them together again, putting the beef aside to get together on an album. It was magnificent. Just hearing the money talk Rick Ross was talking about, hearing him on Meek Mill beats, and just hearing Meek Mill back on the MMG beats. It just gave me a reminder of early college and just early days when I was out there listening to MMG. It was great. So go check that out too. I think it's like a 12, 13 to 14 song album. Not as long as the Chris Brown joint. But go check that out as well. And moving on over into the pop culture sphere, SAG AFTRA strike has ended. This year, I'm personally excited about. This year, I can jump like I was in the industry. I can jump, holla, scream, yell. I'm happy. It's over. They signed a tentative 3-year deal. The details of this deal weren't as descriptive, or I mean, I didn't really look into it as much as the writers, contract was. But the writers signed a contract with these big wigs, the movie companies, the actors and directors signed their deal as well, tentative 3-year agreement. So we're getting back into the studios, man. We're getting everything we need to get back on. The writing is getting started up again. The filming's getting started up again. The panels are getting started again. The promotions are getting started up again. And I can definitely say I'm really excited about it. More movies for us to review for you guys. More TV shows for us to review for you guys. More everything, man. It was at a hard stop, man, and I didn't know what was gonna happen at first, man. It was like one of the longest strikes we've had since 1950 something. We have some new age thinkers out here, and these companies were standing pat. They did not want to budge. They want AI to be the next thing so bad that these actors and these writers had to not even fully like get what they wanted to get this AI not out of there. They had to make a compromise and say that these companies can still explore it, but we'll give you a little something if we do figure some shit out. We'll give you a little bit of residuals for the streaming stuff. We'll give you a little bit of a salary raise, you know what I'm saying? And we'll revisit it in 3 years is what it seems like. But either way it goes, if the actors and the directors and the writers are all happy and are able to sign this agreement and they feel like that's what they needed to get back to work, I'm excited for them and excited for all the stuff that is to come. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm excited for. There's a whole bunch of rumors out there as far as the MCU, as far as the DCU goes. Curry's up here snoring. That's why I keep looking over here at her. She snores hella loud, but it's crazy. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see them get their stuff back. I'm excited to see all these release dates that were rumored to get pushed back actually get moved up. But I'm not excited about how Marvel is moving, man. You know, this podcast talks a lot about Marvel, talks a lot about the MCU, kind of talks this talks up the superhero stuff a lot. I know that's not everybody's bag. And I know sometimes y'all can get tired of me talking about it, but in the box office wise, those movies are doing big numbers. But you know, we still pop in, talk about other types of movies and stuff as well. So the SAG after stuff doesn't only affect superhero movies, Marvel, DCU, but that's kind of the stuff that we be talking about, kind of the stuff that we be into that kind of is directly affected. But every other movie as well, man. Every other type of movie, every other film, TV show you can think of is back in action now. They're saying that hopefully by Thanksgiving, everything's gonna start to be getting promoted again. Everything will be fully in motion. We got a trailer for the movie or the TV show Echo, the next Disney Plus Marvel show. Me personally, I don't really care about it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Echo wasn't my favorite character in the Hawkeye show. She wasn't really even an interesting character. I love the representation of Native American and disabled. She's deaf. She has one leg. You know what I mean? It's epic. It's epic as a opportunity for her. But as a character, she doesn't really interest me that much in the MCU. They're already kind of complaining about having too much on Kevin Feige's plate. Actually, let me just go dual cameras on him. And I feel like Kevin Feige's gonna get overloaded. A lot of the stuff that they're trying to do now is kind of cheating to me. They're kind of trying to start over the MCU. They did all this stuff in Phase 4, leading to Phase 5 that is supposed to be, oh, Kang this, Kang that, Quantumania is supposed to lead into that, this is and that. But now we're getting messages from Kevin Feige saying that everything in the MCU is canon. Sony stuff is canon. They give Kevin Feige control over the comic books now, so he can kind of mush in and have creative control over what the comic books say. It's just going to be kind of weird. It's going to be interesting to see. The Marvels, I'm not really into. I don't know if I'm going to see it or not. Loki is kind of their saving grace right now, but they're saying they're going to reset the MCU. Tobey Maguire's, who else? Tobey Maguire, Wolverine, Logan is supposed to be like the new leaders of the Avengers. If you guys saw Loki, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Loki in a little bit for our review. But Loki is gonna be somebody that's gonna have a big footing in the Secret Wars and helping them fight. And I don't know, it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting because they did a whole bunch of stuff and they're still releasing stuff that I feel like is kind of for nothing. The Agatha Harkness show, Ironheart show, and they're kind of stepping on a lot of stuff that they are releasing as well. Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts. Like we want to see connective tissue. We watched and sat through all these shows that seemed like one of ones that definitely needed to be their own shows broken off or just somehow connected or weaved into Phase 5. We've been waiting on Phase 5 for what seems to be, well, I think we're in Phase 5, but we're waiting for the Phase 4 to Phase 5 connectivity for about a year and a half now. Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy seemed like a one-off, just a closing, as ending to the Guardians. Quantumania did introduce Kang the Conqueror, but what they do at the end don't really explain what's going to happen next in the phases. They seem to have killed him off, but how is he going to come back? Shang-Chi, I'm still confused how that's going to connect into Phase 5. Black Panther 2, are we going to get another Black Panther variant? Is Shuri going to stay Black Panther forever? So are we going to have Shuri, Captain America, and Shang-Chi be the new leader of Avengers all the way up until Secret Wars? Because Secret Wars is not till 2027. You know what I mean? So are we waiting? And are these people going to all be old or able to still be the actors? I'm so confused. But we're actually going to see. We're going to see, man. But again, the Echo trailer, it seemed like it has some good action in it. We saw her in the connectivity to Ronin and how her dad was killed by Ronin. Supposedly, but it was really Kingpin. She was raised by Kingpin. So maybe we see the violentness of Kingpin kind of rub off into her and show why she is the way she is. I kind of am interested to see her powers because she kind of is like, man, I can't think of his name right now. The other character that they horribly used in Black Widow. Taskmaster. She's kind of like Taskmaster as such, so she can kind of like mimic people's fighting styles, just looking at them for a second and kind of mimic that. She doesn't like have any super strength or anything, but she's can mimic stuff really well. But I don't know, man. Until we get Daredevil, I don't think I'm really ready to see a side story, a side character in Daredevil. Maybe this can usher in Daredevil, but it seems like Daredevil is on the back burner for a while because on the list of these releases, I don't see Daredevil here. They've gone through like 3 different writers. They've started over a couple of times. I don't know. I feel like I heard that they don't even put Daredevil in his suit until about episode 8, and it's supposed to be an 18 episode season. So I don't know, man. It just seems like they're doing a lot, and they're all leaving it up to one guy, Kevin Feige, to kind of like clean it all up and do whatever he's gonna do to make it what it is, and like whatever he says is gonna have to go. And though he may have had a bunch of shit come out early in phase 4, early phase 5, he's gonna erase it towards the end of phase 5. Interesting stuff, man. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. And they're already talking about replacing Kang, like due to his court stuff. And to me, it's like he seems to be innocent in this court stuff. The lady was supposed to be arrested. Um, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the trial is going to be about. I don't know if it's going to be a long trial, but I guess they're looking at it more so since they can't film stuff because he has to be in wherever he has to be for trial. I think it was in New York or somewhere he got arrested. So maybe they have to do stuff in New York and the filming has to start in other places. So they're thinking about replacing Kang's character altogether with Doctor Doom and kind of ushering in Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four. But I don't think they need to do that, man. Leave Kang alone, man. I thought he did great as Victor Timely in the new Loki season. And then He Who Remains, when he did pop up in the finale, spoiler alert, he did great as them too. And him as different variants of Kang, I think is going to be great. He has such good range. I feel like there's nothing really to say in court. I mean, I don't think the girl's going to go to jail. I don't know what he's really going to get from the girl from taking her to court. You know what I mean? I know she's not going to do no jail time. I know she ain't got no money to give to him. I know by him winning the case, he's probably going to clear his name, and that's not all he cares about, but I'm sure that's all that he really wants as far as his career goes right now is to clear that from his name and not have that anywhere associated with him. Because roles and stuff were taken away. We talked about it on the podcast. Yeah. So I'm hoping they don't replace Kang because, I mean, Dr. Doom coming in, I hope that does happen still, and I hope they get a good person to play Dr. Doom as well. I just don't think that they should kind of just go ahead and just do it right now. It just looks bad. Kang has already got sucked up into the little thing in Quantum Mania, so they can just maybe delay his comeback. You know what I'm saying? Start off Doctor Doom, but not completely eliminate Kang. You can just wait till that court stuff gets cleared up. I'm sure it will pretty fast, and then resume with the Kang storyline because one of the fucking Avengers movies is gonna be called Kang Dynasty. I know they still can make a pivot, but it's like, come on now, don't be those people. Stick with your boy. More and more evidence has come out saying that he was innocent. Just ride with him. You know what I'm saying? You were riding with him when you didn't know if he was innocent. Why stop and cut him now when he's innocent and he's in trial to try to clear his name? It just doesn't make any sense. So just chill out. Some of these release dates that we do got though, because I said they were pushed back a little bit due to the strike, but now that the strike is all over, they do have some tentative dates that they can still move them around, but some of this stuff is coming up soon, and I'm excited for it. Deadpool 3 we got at May 3rd, 2024. Captain America Brave New World is August 26, 2024. Thunderbolts, December 20th, 2024. Blade, which is going to be rated R. Really excited to see. February 24th, 2025. Fantastic Four, May 2nd, 2025. First Avengers Kang Dynasty, May 1st, 2026. And Avengers Secret Wars, where Tobey Maguire, Logan, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, of course, are all supposed to be the leaders of, the new Avengers. But how are they supposed to do that when they're probably going to be hella old at the time? Maybe that's what they want, and have the older people kind of be the leader of the Avengers and then kind of usher in a new Avengers. I did hear some stuff about how Loki ended. I'll talk about that a little bit when I do the Loki review, but it kind of makes sense of where they may be trying to go. as far as the TV series and as far as the Phase 5 and Secret Wars. And so we might see a collective revamping and a whole new something that we may like and not really be disappointed like we thought we were going to be with the new Avengers that they have showing us, like the Shang-Chi, the Shuri, the Captain America, Anthony Mackie. But I think there's some stuff that may be happening down the road that we will enjoy, and we'll thank Kevin Feige for it down the road. But leaving MCU and stuff for 1 second before I get into the Loki review, I want to see how y'all like that Gen V review. I mean, Gen V finale. Interesting, right? Spoiler alert. Again, we're reviewing Gen V. I have to review it because this is going to lead directly into The Boys Season 4. And then after The Boys Season 4, it's going to bounce back into Gen V Season 2. Overall, I really did like the show. It was really good. It was really good spinoff of The Boys. Gave us that kind of like sick, kind of like naughty, kind of disturbing vibe that The Boys did, but not as hard because they're college students. I really like the concept, kind of a whole My Hero Academia type thing, but kind of American TV, to where it was a college, a school where all these people have powers and they're all kind of trying to get into the seven with Homelander in them, but they were like all college students that were competing and had a ranking system. It was pretty cool. The drama throughout, you guys saw they were testing on superheroes, kids from the school, not superheroes, but kids from the school, students in this kind of offsite, testing on them, trying to find ways ultimately to kill superheroes, because you know what I'm saying, Vought wants to be able to fight back against his superheroes if they ever take over. Because in The Boys, we saw that I don't know if actually it was Vought, but I think it was the government. One of them, I think it was Vought too, that was testing on the kids to try to get see how they can kill Soups as a failsafe. Because we saw Homelander kind of do what he wants to do at the end of season 3 of The Boys, killed somebody, killed a protester, and just kind of looked at everybody like, what you gonna do about it? And they're kind of like, yeah, cheering for him, even though he did shit that the Seven and Vought and shit wouldn't want him to do. So superheroes are kind of out of control now. They know they can do what they want. So they're secretly testing on these kids at this offsite, trying to make a virus that kills superheroes so they can be safe just in case they go crazy like Homelander did. Throughout this series, we meet a whole bunch of characters that have crazy ass powers that are all hella weird. But the finale itself was pretty interesting, man, because we saw all that shit start happening. We saw the girl that controlled people's minds just kind of break and just have the superheroes that are being tested on go and just start killing people that didn't have superpowers or just that were around and just kind of vibing out and going crazy. Yeah, she once she slit that the head lady's throat, everybody on the team everybody in the group kind of knew that she kind of turned to the bad side. She kind of, her brain kind of like broke when she was trying to push people too much and everybody was stuck in her thoughts and shit. She came out of that experience all weird and kind of broken. So she overused her powers, used her powers to possess I forgot his name, Jake. I think his name was Jake. The brother of Golden Boy. Sorry, I don't have all the names down, but once she possessed him and he started going on a rampage, told him to feel nothing, it just got kind of bad. And the team knew that they had to take her out or else she's going to possess everybody to do her bidding and everybody's going to start killing each other, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, I just want to talk about the ending here in Gen V. So they end up stopping the girl. We see the main character, she can control blood. She ends up blowing her arm off so she can't touch nobody. But then we see Homelander land. Homelander is supposed to defuse the situation, and ultimately, the girl that's controlling everybody's minds and doing shit, getting everybody killed, is a bad guy. She tried to go out there and kill all the Vought people, almost took down the helicopter and whatnot. But they call in Homelander, and he's kind of mad at the girl that kind of saves everybody. It's like, you attack one of your own type shit. Like, you would attack one of your own to save these pathetic humans. You know, Homelander's all twisted and crazy. Then he ends up blasting her and all the heroes. And then we think she dies, and Homelander kills her on some weird shit. But they wake up in this room in like a Forest Number 2 type of deal, to where their powers are suppressed. They're stuck in a room, and they're being researched on as well. Just because they knew what Vought was doing, they knew the secrets of the team, and they just kind of labeled them as villains. They made them take the blame. The rampage was the group's fault that was trying to, just trying to make everything right and save the kids from the forest and save the Vought people from the rampaging students. Since they knew everything and knew the secrets of Vought, they had Homelander stun them and put them in a laboratory, just like the forest, the woods #2. And now the heroes from this actual show that were heroes the whole time trying to help everybody are now stuck in a room being held captive by the dirty ass Vought and the dirty ass Seven. You know what I'm saying? Homelander gets more and more powerful. He takes down the good guys again, takes down the people that rebel against Vought, against the system. The mayor, I forgot her name too. Shit. The girl that be blowing up people's heads, they got the actual recipe to how to kill superheroes, which is going to be advantage to her because she wants to kill Homelander. And so does everybody else. We've been waiting for Homelander to die for so long. We had that racist Nazi girl die in season 2, and we got really good payoff from that. But Homelander is still out here making decisions and just fucking people over and being this sociopathic, narcissistic asshole. And he ends up fucking up the heroes at the end of the show, putting them in jail, which is going to lead to season 4 of The Boys, which I think is more so of Homelander being an asshole. I don't know what's going to happen with Billy Butcher and Huey and them after that Tim V interesting stuff. I don't know if they were able to stabilize it to where they wouldn't die, or are they still going to die? I don't know, but I'm ready for season 4. Hopefully that doesn't get pushed back to shit knows when, due to the strike. Hopefully they've been filming, already have the shit ready and just can put it out whenever, because I don't want to wait for that. Gen V, I want to see what happens next, because they left us on a super cliffhanger. Them being actually trapped in the woods after freeing everybody from the woods and releasing the secret, and it being flipped on them and blamed on them was a crazy twist. I hope they get out and kick the Seven's ass and really become the good Seven, because it's 4 seasons of the bad guys winning, the bad good guys winning, Soldier Boy, the asshole, winning, like, all the racist people winning. It's just it's a tough thing to watch sometimes. It's interesting for the gore and the nasty and the freaky stuff sometimes. It's really interesting to see. But this whole spin on the superheroes, man, and them being assholes and them getting away with everything because they're the presumably supposed to be the heroes is crazy. It's crazy. But I'm excited to see the next seasons of both the shows, and I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But what we're really here for, and if you guys waited all this whole episode to listen to it, but I'm gonna try to get these timestamps out here, so you probably skipped to it if you did skip to it. Let me get the real big boy spoiler alert in here. Spoiler alert! I don't know if you can get this on the screen, aka, but get spoiler alert somewhere in there, because we're going to the cinema corner. We going to get into a Lydell Dinero, the style Loki episode 6 review. Not the penultimate episode, but the ending episode, the last episode, man. We got left on a cliffhanger, double cliffhanger. Episode 4 left us on a cliffhanger that we thought was going to be solved in episode 5. But in episode 5, it just got a little more sad, knowing that he can't stop what happens, and he actually learned how to control his time, what do they call it? Time slipping. There we go. Time slipping. So he was able to control his time slipping by the end of episode 5, which had a whole lot of sad undertones to it, man. All these people being snatched from the realities and ultimately dying in the reality they snatched them to, and their families and timelines being expired and erased. It's sad. It was a sad episode. It was a sad episode because Loki tried so hard to get it all together, to try to bring everybody back, to try to get the TVA back together, to try to get the timelines back controlled, to try to get everybody to be able to live in their own time streams peacefully. But no, you couldn't do it. And then episode 6, it was even greater, because once he did get to control that time slipping, we saw his adventures on trying to make this problem work. We saw him keep trying to get Victor Timely to go out there and make the thing work, make the machine work. He goes onto the deck and he gets evaporated every time. Loki's using his time slipping, since he knows how to control it now, to keep going back to figure out the answer. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. But ultimately, you can't figure it out just going back to right before the collider exploded. So he does go further back. He goes to Obi and tries to help him, or tries to get Obi to teach him how space and time works and how quantum physics works. And he was like, oh, it take him centuries. Luckily, he's able to time slip, which is really interesting to me in that instance, because did he really spend centuries learning about quantum physics and space and time? Because damn, centuries, bruh. Like, first, I guess he's a god, so he lives forever. But how does OB live for centuries to teach him all this stuff? Well, maybe OB just taught him stuff. Maybe OB, no, he said centuries. So what does he do? Does he just go learn some shit, go back and then learn some different shit because he already knows some shit and then goes back and learns centuries worth of information in a little bit of time? Because if centuries pass, I'm not gonna try to understand time travel, but that's what happened. So after he goes back further and learns all that stuff from OB, he thinks he knows what happens, and knows why Victor Timely goes out there and dies every time, why the radiation kills everybody and why the collider is gonna explode no matter what. He types his stuff into the thing, and this time, hey, Victor makes it all the way down the gangway. He's able to push the green button. He's able to shoot the whatever thingy-bobby into the collider, in attempts to make the rings bigger, to straighten out all the timelines and get it to not explode. But ultimately, that didn't even work either. So all that centuries of stuff that he went back and learned was null and void and did not matter, which was messed up. So we see him think, okay, if this is not where I need to go back even further. So we see him go back to when Sylvie is about to kill He Who Remains, and he thinks this is the time where I need to stop this from happening, because if this happens, this is when this shit goes all out of control. There's nobody to control these time streams, and we're inevitably gonna die because Sylvie ends up killing He Who Remains. So we see a whole bunch of battle scenes, which is really cool, of Sylvie trying to fight Loki to get to He Who Remains, and he ends up losing every time, and Sylvie ends up stabbing He Who Remains every time. He starts to realize that what he has to do is kill Sylvie, because if he doesn't kill Sylvie, she's never going to stop trying to kill He Who Remains, and that is going to be inevitable. So after time and time again that he's not able to stop her from killing him, he talks to He Who Remains. He's like, all right, He Who Remains, like, bro, we've been through this hella times. I'm trying to stop her from killing you. Why aren't you fighting back? He was like, oh, yeah, because this is inevitable. I know it's going to happen. You're never going to be able to stop her from trying to kill me. And this never-ending cycle of you having to go get Victor Timely and him trying to stop this machine, this whole loop of stuff is never going to stop, because she's never going to not kill me. So the only way, to stop her and have this not, to have this end and all this time streams go back to the way they are going to be, you have to kill Sylvie. He's trying to convince him that he has to kill Sylvie in order to do it. Or if not, they're going to continue to go through this whole loop of things. He also explains to Loki how the collider exploding, is it called the collider? It's called the loom. The loom exploding is all part of his plan, because once the collider explodes, it resets everything back to where it was, in him being in control of everything, because it's always meant to blow up, and it's always supposed to lead back to He Who Remains being in charge and him having to make that decision to kill him again, and it all loops and it all loops and it all loops as a failsafe to protect the timelines. So he's sitting there having this conversation with He Who Remains, and he's kind of mocking him because, he's able to stop Sylvie, get her out of there, freeze her, and control time. He's like, you can't do that yet. I'm sure we've been through this a bunch of times. You can't do that. You got a lot to learn. So I see you in a couple of more centuries type shit. But he's like, hold up, nigga. I actually do know how to do that. And, I'm going to make it, I'm not going to kill Sylvie. I'm going to figure this out on my own. Though he's pissed off because he had to do centuries of research for nothing, that the loom was always going to explode, and Victor Timely was inevitable, and the variants were already on their way. You know what I'm saying? It didn't discourage Loki at all, which led to the biggest surprise of the season. And some of the stuff that I did hint on that I learned from heavy spoilers, that maybe Loki was involved in, you know, creating the TVA or controlling the time streams or putting all these people in order to, you know, keep the time streams at bay, or, you know, just be the ultimate controller of time and space in some ultimate ploy to finally get his throne as Loki, because we saw throughout the series and throughout the movies in the MCU, people mocking Loki of being the unworthy brother, the person under Thor who probably would never get his throne just because he's always up to some tricks and always trying to earn his throne in some mischievous way. But ultimately, in the end of the episode, after all the time travel and all unlearning, we see him take Sylvie in some time out of space and let her know that, hey, we can't keep doing this because I talked to He Who Remains. We went through this time and time again. I'm able to control my slipping. And, you know, the only way for us to get through this is if I kill you. And he kind of told her he wasn't going to do it. He wants to give everybody a chance to live and do what they want to do, and, you know, take another route. So we did see him, instead of Victor Timely going out there to try to hit the collider shit into the loom, we saw Loki go out there, and as he was walking, he went out there without the suit. He went out there and was just walking, and he saw his clothes rip off and a different Loki kind of suit come on. And we saw a crown with horns start to form, and we saw all the timelines just kind of die. And then he starts grabbing the timelines and turning them green and kind of pulling them. He starts walking towards this kind of like this throne type, well, this rock type thing. It starts to become a gold throne. He sits on it and he starts to pull all the timelines together, and just kind of becomes a cathedral. I think that's what it's called. That the tree in Norse mythology, that has like Midgard, kind of like Asgard and all that stuff on it. It forms that. So it kind of like hints that Loki was or is in control of all the time stream, and he's the guy that's holding it together, and he, you know, is going to have to take that sacrifice in order to be the guy he wants to be, you know, have a throne, have purpose. He's the guy that's going to control all of these timelines, you know what I mean? Again, last week I did mention how it was kind of hinted on in a comic, or in the opening and in the comic book, when they revealed the comic book of Loki holding the green strands and the green strands coming out in the opening. It was lightweight predicted by heavy spoilers and some people. But if it ultimately opens up more stuff, I'm gonna be really happy about it. A lot happened, but it didn't really. I mean, it was a really good show. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of my favorite shows, of course, that the MCU has put out. Disney Plus has put out for the MCU Marvel. But it didn't necessarily close all the loops securely. It's kind of like you have to think about what's going on. Me personally, I'm thinking like, did Loki originally put Victor Timely, or excuse me, He Who Remains in place to be the person that is controlling the TVA? So he wouldn't have to sit on that throne and hold all the time threads together. You know what I'm saying? Are the variants still coming? How just how Sylvie killing him, it started the variants coming. So him taking those strands and bringing them together and controlling the time stream makes it so that the loom doesn't explode and it doesn't reset, and He Who Remains doesn't come back. So I think what they're doing now is Loki's holding everything together. He's holding a whole bunch of different time streams together so he can control what's going on. We've heard rumors of Loki being Avenger Prime, which was a comic book run of Loki kind of having all the powers of all the timelines and all the time streams, and he's able to go into different time streams and use the powers of different Avengers and appear like them and use their powers. That's why they call him Avenger Prime, because he was actually all the Avengers and he can change into them. Correct me if I'm wrong, people out there down there in the comics. But another hint to what's supposed to happen next in the MCU is all the Avengers, as we know, are gone. So a way for us to bring back older Avengers and bring new Avengers into the fray is to have Loki being the Avenger Prime go pull different Avengers from different time streams and have them come fight Secret War against Kang and the other variants once it does come down time to do that, because Loki's going to have access to all these other time streams, and he's going to be able to, hopefully he doesn't have to sit there holding those time streams all the time, because if he has to do that, he's not going to be able to bounce around and do what he wants to do. But I feel like he will be able to change his arc, man. He's so used to being a bad guy. Now he has purpose of being a good guy that's holding the time stream together. And when it comes time for it, he's going to be that guy that brings all the Avengers together as well from different time streams, different variants of them, to get a good Avengers team together. Maybe we'll get another, because we have rumors of, again, Tobey Maguire. We have Robert Downey Jr., maybe what's his name? Steve Rogers' character. What's his name in real life? Shoot, I don't know. But anyways, we have rumors of all of them coming back and being in Secret Wars. So the fact that in Secret Wars, I think either they're gonna have to fight Kang or they're gonna have to fight versions of themselves to stop the world from exploding, because they have to kill their variants of themselves in order to stop their planet from exploding. So whoever wins in the war of killing their variants stops their planet from being, destroyed. So I don't know which side, which angle they're going to take in that, but I do think Loki being in control of all the time streams and the Avengers not being up to par right now, Kevin Feige is going to take that advantage to say like, oh, he can go in there, he can take this good guy role, he can be the recruiter of the new Avengers, he's the Avenger Prime, he can go out there and just get all the different Avengers to fit what he needs to attack all the Kang variants that are eventually going to come out in Kang Dynasty and the Secret Wars. So I think that's how the connective tissue is going to be. And I mean, 1 out of 10, I rate season 2 in this series overall a 9.5. There's some stuff that could be cleaned up, some repetitive things, and some, like, I wouldn't say fillers, but some of the stuff they do in some of the episodes is kind of like, okay, we saw this already. Let's move this on a little bit more. Let's see a little bit more of explanation, a little bit more tie into, again, phase 5. But again, they're saying that this ending in the mid-credit scene of the Marvels is supposed to give you really good evidence to what's happening. And I kind of already know what's going to happen. It's been spoiled all over the internet, but I want you guys to see it first. I'll let you guys know in the next episode what that mid-credit scene was and how the tie-in's supposed to be for Loki, and if any of this information that I'm giving you now about being the time streams and different Avengers and different characters being brought in for Secret Wars, we'll confirm that as we go, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will help us do so, as far as like heavy spoilers, Screen Crush, and any other podcasts that follow me and follow the Best of Bias podcast, because we've gotten a lot of new users and a lot of new followers and a lot of new people from other podcasts. I do follow a lot of Marvel and a lot of superhero podcasts. So if you guys mess with the pod, come on, leave your theories down there. Hit me up on the Instagram. We can find some theories. We can discuss some theories on there as well. But yeah, that's Loki, and it was a great show, man. Of course, again, I'm gonna put it up there, number 1 from the MCU shows. I really liked it. I put it up against any of the MCU shows except for Moon Knight. You know what I'm saying? Moon Knight was really, people hated on Moon Knight, but Moon Knight's a close second or third for me. So I like Moon Knight a lot. But yeah, this is the end of the podcast, where I like to let them know where you can find me at. Hopefully this wasn't too long. I try to get a lot of information out to y'all, pop culture, sports, some cinema corner, but new topics, new guests coming real soon. But anyways, you know where you want to find me at. It's SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. You can find the podcast on YouTube, whole bunch of videos, AKA, man, thank you so much. Where would the podcast be without you? All of my visual listeners, you know what I mean, watching on YouTube. We wouldn't be able to do this without AKA. So go follow him on Instagram, follow him on all his social sites, leave likes, leave comments, thank him for making this available and helping us take this next level. You know what I'm saying? He's been working hand in hand with me this whole time, trying to get the Best of Bias Media on his feet, the podcast on his feet. Everything we've been doing, we've been hustling, man, and I feel like I don't show as much appreciation as I should for what he does. He does so much, damn near. He's definitely a part of the team. This is a 2-man team, man. Me and AKA, we out here trying to make the team grow. So if you're interested, hit us up. Again, YouTube is Best of Bias Podcast. The website, same thing. Just hit us up, man. Just let us know. We got merch all day. You see what I got on my head. You see what I got back there. A bunch of new merch, a bunch of new stuff. Support the podcast. Get some merch on on you. If you're gonna be at LA Comic-Con, I'm gonna be there wearing the merch. Just holla at me. You'll see it on my body if you need some. I don't know if I have it on me there, but I might bring some, man. I want to give some to some celebrities and just give it to them. Best of Bias Podcast. Check this out. Wear this merch. Some of your promotion, free promo, free swag, free gear. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hold you. But yeah. Anyways, hit me up if you need it. I got a bunch of it: hats, dad hats, bucket hats, beanies, t-shirts. Couple of sizes left in this last run of t-shirts. New ones coming real soon. I just need to peek the inches of the people, what y'all need, and I'm gonna have it for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. More guests coming soon. I'm trying to get Chelsea on the next episode. The new challenge is out right now. Ash Wash, V-Rons, Amber, Yankee Doodle. We got to get all them back on a review and get their feelings on. We got to talk about the last episode, like the last season, the USA one, and this season. Get their feelings on that. We got to get a bunch of people back on here because I know y'all tired of hearing me rant on sports. At least get somebody on here to go back and forth to sports. I had Johnny Mac on here a little bit ago to talk sports with me, but yeah, more stuff, and it's gonna get differentiated. Don't worry. Just keep coming back. Tell your friends, hit those bells, hit those subscribe buttons, likes, leave comments everywhere, especially on YouTube. So you never know when I drop extra content. Sometimes I drop 2 videos a week. I tried to do that a couple of weeks ago with the Anime Kumite tournaments. Check out the tournaments as well. We have a tab for our tournaments. It's the Best of Bias podcast tournaments. First one was Anime Kumite with the main characters of a couple of shows. We broke it down in a March Madness style bracket, and we got it all the way down to 1 champion. And then we did the next tournament was the side characters from the shows and had them battle it out again in a rematch type of way and seeing if the same show was to win on that. But check that out as well, both on YouTube. After you watch this video, go ahead and watch and like that one as well. And whatever podcast platform, whether it be Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, give us stars, leave reviews on there too. Apple Podcasts specifically, go ahead and leave 5 stars on there and leave a review because we're trying to qualify to be an actual movie review podcast. And I think back in the days it was 200 reviews on the 5-star reviews or just reviews on there, and we actually can get verified to be movie critics and TV show critics and stuff like that. Me, aka Damo, everybody that be on the podcast would love that and would love to have that certification. So holler at us for that too. Enjoy your weekend, Saturday, Sunday, enjoy sports. The tournament is on today. I'm recording this on a Friday. Tournament is on Tuesdays and Fridays. NBA, NFL, hockey, anything you want to watch is on right now. So tune into something. And if you don't want to watch sports, go spend time with your family. I know it's getting cold out there, but you know what I'm saying? It's the perfect time to get out there and, travel. Enjoy the amusement parks because they got the holiday themes going, Disneyland and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know stuff can be a little expensive right now. So, good old fashioned quality time will do, I'm sure. So if you take a break from all the sports that's going on, hug somebody in your family, call somebody in your family, talk to your friends, because you never know. When it gets cold, people do get depressed. So check on your best friend's mental health, check on your family's mental health, and hug somebody, man. It's the Best of Bias podcast. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for all the support. Episode 185. Can you believe it? 4 years in the making. It's your boy Lydell Dinero. Where that theme song at? See y'all next week. Is it gonna be Friday? Is it gonna be Saturday? Don't worry about it. Just hit that bell and I'm gonna be here for y'all no matter what. It's your boy. Where that theme song at? Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. It's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias podcast with Lydell Dinero and Hugo Twilight.
Podcast, you got your boy in the building today. How y'all feeling? Hope you feeling some type of way. Hope you're feeling ready for a podcast. It's the Best of Bias and it's gonna last forever.